Hey, what's up, YouTube? Okay, this is a part two to my aliens on social media, and I'm gonna be starting off with the next reptilian, the next guy that came to my Facebook page, the sacrificial wolf, and started to troll my pages. Troll my page, but he goes by the name Reptilian Ho. He goes by the name Christopher McDermott, and you guys could check out his profile for yourselves. So yeah, I said another one comes to visit my page. One thing you'll notice about a Facebook page like mine, or a group that's dedicated to truth, occult truths, which the word occult means hidden, they attract aliens slash host bodies like moths to a light to come and discredit or troll those who spread the truth. And what is truth but not a light to guide one out of this dark, shadowy world that is built upon lies? So yeah, as you can see, this is him right here, and note that he has a kid. As I mentioned in my last video, aliens on social media, artwork is the expression of the soul. You can tell a lot about a person at their core on the soul level is by what kind of art they get into. So yeah, here he is, and the first picture he uses to represent himself is a rat. Is a monster or evil looking rat. So he's telling you that he's on some level he's telling you that he likes rats and that he is a rat. So I said, nice evil rat picture. Are you that rat in a wolf's clothing, or should I say sheep clothing? Here he is flipping off the camera, and you'll notice a lot of hosts like to do that too, and they're rude, they're disrespectful. Like you could even see it in their humor. Is like when they make a joke, it's always like a very dirty joke or something that's very. And don't get me wrong, those kind of jokes are funny, sometimes, but it just goes to show, that they're not. They're not good people. They're not people at all. Not on the soul level, but and you'll see the skull tattoo on his chest with vampire teeth. So as I mentioned in my last video, human hosts, like I mentioned a lot of important points in my first video called Aliens on Social Media Part 1, and if you guys watch it, I explain how for one to spot a fucking a reptilian host on social media is through artwork, and they get into tons of different kind. They're really big on the symbolism. So if you see a lot of cats, a lot of vampire shit, a lot of clowns, and clowns are symbolic of the host. So you got the clown slit, which is symbolic of the reptilian pupil, and then you got how clowns wear the lipstick, and it goes all across their face, like their cheeks, and they have those long ass lips. That's symbolic of the reptilian dinosaur mouth. And then you got the clown factor. The clown is the troll. They like to make a joke out of everything. They like to make a joke out of the truth. Any page, any occult page, or any page that's dedicated to occult truths, like these aliens and the powers of the mind and shit. These hosts are gonna be there, and they're gonna troll the shit out of those pages. They're gonna make jokes. They're gonna act like they like it, or in some cases they'll just flat out just criticize it, ridicule it, and make it, and try to downplay it. Like through insults and shit like that. But in other cases, they'll pretend to get into it, and then when they do pretend to get into it, they'll start really, asking stupid questions, and like, it's It's like, for example, I explained this on my last video. You know, you have a friend, and or you know somebody that shows you. I don't believe in friends, but you, let's say you have a close acquaintance, you know, and they show you a cool song on the radio or something, or you always enjoyed this song on the radio until they started singing along to it and they just made it totally look gay. Um, that's what these that's another tactic that these reptilians, that these hosts will do in order to downplay, you know, occult truths and all that. They'll pretend to get into it, and then they'll do shit on purpose on like a cheesy kind of gay annoying level to make it look stupid, and downplay it. And so, you know, that's where the clown comes into play. The clown is the troll. The clown is the joker. The jet. You know, they like to jest. They like to make a joke out of things. You know, why so serious? As the Joker from Batman always said. Why so serious? You know, again, that symbolism. They're throwing out the word Sirius, Sirius, where the reptilian Anunnaki come from. You know, the Orion constellation. Sirius is in the Orion constellation. So you know, sometimes you got to play the fool to fool the fool who thinks they're fooling you. So, you know, sometimes you got to play the human to fool the human who thinks they're fooling you. Why so serious? So, you know, vampire teeth, lizards, death, anything that really would keep humanity on a low vibration, religion, or, you know, superstitious ideologies and all that. And they keep humanity ignorant through religion. Religion keeps humanity from knowing occult truths and from gaining access to occult power. So you'll see a lot of them push, you know, religion, whether that be paganism or Christianity. But, you know, paganism, I mean, the left-hand path religions are a lot more realistic than the right-hand path ones. But you know, but there's gods on this planet that try to tie themselves in with the left-hand path, and that's what you need to watch out for when you tread down that path. Is that these gods are not here to guide you on the left-hand path. They're here to stop you. That's part of the test of being on the left-hand path. You have to watch out for them. You know, there is no divinity watching over you. There is no fucking you're alone in this universe. It's a dog eat dog universe. And I'm not saying that there's beings out there that aren't good. I mean, you know, technically nobody's good. I mean, you can never be 100% good. I mean, but there is beings out there a lot more just and righteous than the ones that get involved in human affairs here on this planet. But they're outside this matrix. They're not aware of our existence. If you're able to see past this frequency fence, which is very much a part of this matrix, then the frequency fence is the fence that keeps you from realizing that you're in a matrix. So if you're able to see past that, then you could see beyond the matrix. And if you're able to see beyond the matrix, then you could contact these beings through telepathy. But the hard part is getting past these aliens, because, you know, they're always watching you. And if you start to see beyond their matrix, they're high chances are they'll get to you before you get to, you know, get help outside this matrix, you know. People don't understand just how fucked up and how deep this system of control really goes, you know. But moving on to the next picture, though. So you see clowns. I mean, not clowns. Death skulls. You know. Again, big into the death thing. This guy is. The satanic horn hand sign. Yeah, the satanic hand horn sign. It's another way to promote religion, and as I said, religion is here to cover up occult truths and to cut us off from occult power, so we don't see them, so we're not able to fight back against these assholes that fucking walk and run all over us in society and all that, and you know, pretend to be tough and act tough towards you when they know they can get away with it. And the second you start fucking learning about your own potential, the second you start gaining occult knowledge and power, I've seen these hosts do a total 360, and the dread and fear that comes across their face when they encounter a human being with occult knowledge and power, with light. When they're shining, you know, when a human being is shining, these hosts they scared shitless. But you know, but that depends on just how far you just how much you get past that frequency fence, you know. And if you go close to getting past it, fucking these guys get really really nervous, really really scared. I've seen it with my own eyes. As you can see right here on his forehead, you see the little bumps on his forehead. You got one bump right here and another bump right there. He's shape shifting. He's believe it or not, he's reverting his horns. He has fucking astral horns, and the more he can get in tune with this part of him, the more he can get in tune with that astral part of himself, because that's what he looks like on an astral level. You know, is what one would perceive as a demon. The more he gets in tune with that part of himself, the more it will manifest in the material. Or you know, or you can show this to people on a telepathic level as well. His true self. So as you can see, these are horns right here. He's showing you that. I'm not sure if he's showing you on purpose. The expression on his face seems to be that he is, but he's showing you that he's a shapeshifter. In this picture right here, you can see him pointing up towards the sky, and he's covering one finger is covering one of his eyes, so he's showing you one eye symbolism. He's pointing up to the sky, showing you that's where he comes from. He comes from the stars. He comes from up above the heavens. He's not human on a soul level. He's an alien. And then you see right here is one eye symbolism, and it has death on the hand. You know, with one eye, as long as you only see the half of the truth, you know, you're doomed to lose. It's death. You know, and you could see the it's kind of like a it almost kind of gives you the clown vibe too, looking at this picture with the paint on the hand and all that. You know, more skulls and death. Owl symbolism, again, you know, representing the god Moloch, the god of child sacrifice. Um, a ghostly owl, but the owl also represents wisdom, seeing through or seeing things in the dark, you know, and he's in a dark place, and he's able to see things in a dark place. So because this whole entire existence for human beings with legit human souls is, we're born into darkness, we're born into ignorance, where the darkness rules. We don't rule the darkness, and we don't even really rule the light, the yin aspect, but we are but it is less suppressed than it is, with the yang element, but only because with the yang element is where you get your is where black magic rules over the yang element, your warrior skills, you fighting back. So of course the yang is going to be more suppressed, to the point where the yang is ruling over you. You're in darkness. Fucking owls can see through the dark, so he's telling you that he's a reptilian. He could see through things. He could see through the dark. He could see through you. So ghostly is representing the astral. The owl, as you could tell, is a ghostly figure in this picture. So he's controlling people from the astral. He's controlling people from the fourth dimension. That's the message I'm getting. And then there's a fire within. His spirit is on fire on the astral, burning. He knows too much but can't say, can't scream for help. Maybe that's the human spirit talking. I don't know, but or maybe he's trying to tell you that reality is hell, and you can never escape hell in some way or another, and there's always going to be strings attached, in other words. Some more owl stuff. And then right here is a picture of a young female being tortured. Reptilians love torture, and they love sex, and they love death. You know, it's like, you know, it's animal-like characteristics. Well, you know, well, they get in. I mean, it depends on it's perspective. They take these things like sex, torture, and death from a lowly, you know, perspective, not from a higher one. You know, here's a picture right here. The mouth is sealed up. The eyes are black. Black eyes. He's possessed. Mouth is sealed shut. His soul is perhaps held prisoner. The alien spirit is in charge of his soul. His body is like a car, but he's sitting passenger, but not driver. Or perhaps this picture is misleading, and there is no passenger. The driver has been forced out, and the alien hijacked his body/car completely. The black goo, the purity virus from the X-Files television show, has taken over, keeping the host from screaming for help. Mouth is sealed. The black goo-like substance ties into possession. Look up the purity virus on the TV show X-Files. The black goo shows up on many TV shows and Hollywood movies, like Alien Covenant and Prometheus. You know how that black goo turns people into xenomorphs. District 9, which, you know, there's also a black goo-like substance that fuels the entire alien civilization on that movie. That fuels aliens. The whole basis of their civilization, like their technology and all that, depends upon this black goo in the movie District 9. And if any human being or any other species that is not of the same species that ties in with that black goo comes in contact with the black goo, they turn into that same type of alien. And then yeah, you know, there's you know, and then black eyes, you know, the Borg always had this black aura about them, you know, from Star Trek. They were always like pale, black looking beings again, you know, showing you the whole fucking black energy kind of fucking aspect being played out. You see fucking you see possessed people always have black eyes, you know. It's always been it's always been tied to possession. The leading Cenobite on the movie Hellraiser, you know, Pinhead, had the black eyes, you know, going to show that he was possessed. That the black goo that he was tied directly in with the black goo, which was part of the Leviathan, because you could see the Leviathan in the second Hellraiser movie, The Hellbound Heart, emit this black light coming from it all the time, you know. So, you know, there's always this black light or this black goo, or, you know, that always ties into being possessed. So you see this pattern play out a lot in TV shows and movies. So, you know, the black goo is taking him over, and he can't speak, he can't scream for help because he's hijacked, if there is a human spirit in that body. Again, you know, torture, death, and one-eye symbolism. More one-eye symbolism in the form of torture. And this one right here reminds me of the movie The Thing, you know, John Carpenter's The Thing. It's like, you know, possessed human being morphing, shape-shifting. So when these aliens hijack human bodies, they can once the body belongs to them, they can turn on the psychic senses of the human being and use them and use the human's psychic mind in any way they see fit. And the psychic mind of the human being can do anything. So, you know, including shape-shifting, you know. And that's what they're doing in this picture right here. Is, I mean, that's what is happening, you know, is the shape-shifting aspect. He's morphing, he's turning, you know, he's melting and morphing his shape. Again, one-eye symbolism. Obedience is boring, which is kind of funny, but more one-eye symbolism. He does have more one-eye pictures. He does have more one-eye pictures on his profile, but this will be the last picture I'll show as such. If y'all want, if his profile isn't set on private by now, you guys could check it out for yourselves. Obedience is boring. Funny how a host would flaunt such a message, especially when the matrix it serves is all about obeying to the rules, being a slave. Makes you wonder if this is a form of reverse psychology or perhaps a mock, you know, towards any human being that looks at this, you know. Again, more owl shit. More owl shit. Einstein. and you'll see right here, yeah, he's promoting Einstein, and we all know who Einstein is, but I can't say it because this video will be reported. And you know, but if I upload these videos to BitChute, I'll be more in depth, you know, about, you know, people like Einstein. So, you know, of course, these reptilian hosts are going to promote people like that as good, and, you know, as people that do fucking good for humanity when they really don't. Yeah. Not for the most part, anyways. I don't think. So again, I'm showing you, like, you know, is that this guy's a host, and he has kids. And you know, and I'm not saying that these hosts, these reptilian hosts that have kids, rape their kids or do anything really horrible to them on a physical level, but it's all psychological. You know, you'll notice. I think you'll notice that a lot of hosts, a lot of reptilian hosts, have kids, and it's for the sole purpose of because they need legit human beings with legit human souls being born into their matrix, because I think we give them a lot of power. They exploit us psychically. That's the reason why these reptilians created humanity in the first place, is that we're supposed to be a psychic exploit. So you'll see these hosts, these reptilians, bring kids into the world, and and it's and it's all a grooming process from there. It's a grooming process to groom the human being, to prepare them um, into becoming a host themselves later down the line. So that kid that he has, he's gonna groom that kid into becoming more subservient to the system, more vulnerable. So when that time comes, it's gonna be easier to drone that kid as well and turn him into a host, and then the process can fucking continue. As in, you know, the process of exploiting humanity, exploiting human beings. So yeah, that's one host right here, and I'm gonna show you guys another one that has a ton of fucking symbolism on his profile. Reptilian hosts, I think Michael R. Donahoe is his name. Michael R. Donahoe. This one is also directly tied to my page. He commented on one post of mine trying to push Jesus off as if such an asshole actually existed. Funny, because if you check out his profile, he's also a Satanist. Like I've said many times before, religion is a tool to control humanity, to strip Gentiles away from occult knowledge and power, so we can be used as a psychic exploit for these beings. For further info, click this link here. And yeah, it's basically a link from exposing Christianity, you know, the JOS website. And like I said before, you know, I don't take any credit for any of the stuff that I post on my Facebook profiles or on my Facebook pages or on my YouTube channels. If I'm gonna take it from somebody else, I'm not gonna, I may not give credit to that person, but I'm definitely not gonna take credit for myself. So you know, especially when these people are, especially when organizations such as the JOS or other, you know, truther groups, you know, that do post some pretty good truth, but over top they post a lot of lies, and they try to mix their lies in with that truth. What I would do is I'll download these videos, put them on Movie Maker, and edit out the bullshit, and try to get as much truth out of it as possible, and then I'll post it on my pages, whether that be on my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, whatever. And but I never say that that these videos are mine. I say I do not own this video, and it has been edited, you know, in some cases. But I'll never say that. I'll never make the claim that it hasn't been edited, or I'll never make the claim that it's my video or my material. But yeah, put on the put on the They Live sunglasses, which is symbolic of the third eye. The movie, and I'm talking about the sunglasses from the movie They Live, John Carpenter's They Live, and see this world for what it truly is. His profile, like all the others, is filled with death, cats. This one literally has hundreds of cat pictures to the point to where you think he has some sort of fucking weird sexual relationship with them. Pizza, gray aliens, one-eye symbolism, religious crap, drugs, so forth and so forth. So, as you can see right here, he's directly tied to my page. I posted something about I exposed Christianity as having pagan origins, and this asshole gets on there and he tries to fucking push some fucking Jesus nonsense, and I see what I could see what these reptilians try to do right off the bat most of the time. I could just just the vibe they give out, and depending on what they say with that vibe, is usually sometimes a dead giveaway to say, okay, this person's a reptilian. And then I click their profiles and I check out their profile pictures, and more than 90% of the time they all have the same fucking shit. One eye symbolism, owls, death, clowns, cats, fucking vampires, reptiles, and so forth. And I'm not saying, if you see somebody with just, a couple one eye pictures, one eye symbolism pictures, or doing the satanic horn sign, and I mean, that's not enough to go off and say that these people are reptilians. But if you see these patterns, if you see more than one type of these patterns, and they're like obsessive with it, then then there's a good chance that you're dealing with a reptilian. So here's a picture of him right here. Again, you'll see the sunglasses. You see a lot of hosts wear sunglasses. They're vampire souls, parasites. There is probably a deeper message here. Fear of the sun, fear of the light, fear of the truth. Reminds me of the movie Little Monsters. Remember the sunglasses? Oh, and if you stay too long in their realm, you turn into a monster yourself. And I think the movie Little Monsters was kind of based on I think there was some some occult symbolism in that movie as well. That says, if you tread too long into that unknown world, there's a good possibility that you're gonna end up a vampire yourself, a monster, So that's the reason why you always saw that kid wearing the sunglasses, fucking throughout the movie and shit, which is but that depends on it's propaganda. It's a clear message in that movie that's trying to scare you away from the occult world. Don't stay in the occult world because you're going to turn into a monster, or you'll become a possessed. We're warning you, humans. Don't do it. So but that's not the case. It's not the occult world that turns you into a monster. It's these assholes that do. So never fucking buy into Hollywood movies. I mean, it's interesting to pay attention to the symbolism in Hollywood movies. But take that shit with a grain of salt, because they create our movies. These are reptilian movies. Each one of these movies has their propaganda. They'll never go the whole 9 yards with the truth symbolism to where it becomes obvious on an obvious level. But they will go the whole 9 yards with the propaganda. I guarantee you that. Don't be a fool. Don't buy into that. Don't buy into their movies completely. And a lot of people do. I see a lot of at least it seems that way, that a lot of genuine human beings buy into their movies, and they take their movies completely to heart because they see some occult truths and symbolism. Well, they put that shit in there to begin with, to suck you in. And what these movies do is they create that special snowflake mentality. Like, you start to view life as a movie. You start to think as yourself as your life is part of a movie. Therefore, you're special. And Hollywood. It's like Hollywood is a very big propaganda fucking headquarters to condition and the human mind into having this very fake fucking false mentality going on to where you can easily be exploited. Like, for example, like you'd see a lot of fucking you can't really watch a good TV show or movie based on aliens without the aliens acting superhuman like. It's like Star Trek, you know. I really hate the TV. I mean, there's a part of me that liked the TV show Star Trek. I've seen all fucking television series of Star Trek besides the first one, you know, with Kirk, with Captain Kirk and all them. But I have seen the one with, like, you know, Captain Picard and and uh and you know, Captain Janeway, that would be Voyager. Picard would be Next Generation. Cisco would be fucking Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You know, I've seen all those TV shows, and there was a part of me that enjoyed them. You know, and I kind of fell in love with the Star Trek series and all that. But I saw the same repeating patterns with Star Trek as well. You know, the aliens always acted so human. You know, it almost made me sick to my stomach when I would watch it, because it's like, you know, it's like it'd be some aliens on that TV show that would be like so insect-like too, but yet they would fucking implant these insectoid-like species, or these reptilian species, with just, you know, compassion and love and care. And it's like, you know, these are human emotions. I mean, reptiles and insects aren't able to feel compassion, love, and care. You know, these are mammalian traits. You know, what they're trying to do is they're trying to push their propaganda into making people think, like, you know, like to make people think, to make people think, to see reality through a false lens. You know, and as long as we believe that every species out there is like us and thinks in the same way as we do, despite having vastly different genetics and vastly different DNA, fucking you're gonna fucking put your guard down, and you're gonna end up fucking yourself. These aliens are gonna exploit it, and that's how they do exploit it, by conditioning human beings to think that, you know, everyone and every species out there thinks just like them. So anyways, going on. So you see death, a child, death, um, a dog, a black dog, or, you know, or something like that. Child, death, and a black dog. Weird. He has flames around him, fire from a hellish place. A vampire bat. So, you know, and then he says, "I'm all ears." So he's representing this vampire bat as himself. So in a way, he's calling himself a vampire. Another vampire. So, you know, a vampire looking at the light, like, you know. And then you see this right here from the movie Aliens. You see the face hugger alien on the head of the human being, um, parasiting him, or, like, you know, dropping the eggs in and then making him turn into an alien himself. So, you know, it's interesting that Michael R. Donahoe would have a host, you know, because this is pretty much a host, as in his profile pictures, saying that's something that he gets into. So he's showing you that he himself is a host, is an alien. Death, the Reaper. So again, you know, trying to keep humanity on that low vibration. This is from the TV show Breaking Bad, a TV show based on meth, drugs, and meth is one of the worst drugs that you can do. Um, Through meth, it's very, very easy for somebody to get hosted. Very easy. So it's no surprise that he's promoting this shit on his fucking Facebook. In the Greek, so this is the god Cerberus. In Greek mythology, Cerberus, often called the Hound of Hades, is a multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from leaving. Cerberus was the offspring of the monsters Echidna and Typhon, and is usually described as having 3 heads, a serpent for a tail, and snakes protruding the multiple parts of his body. Cerberus is primarily known for his capture by Hercules, one of Hercules' 12 labors. And look, the number 3, again, you know, hosts sure do love that number. You'll see a lot of hosts always do things in 3s, like with 3 emojis. That's another sign to look. I mean, that's another thing to look out for, you know, is if they're always doing things in 3s. So, anyways, he calls himself Cerberus, the guardian or gatekeeper, to keep people from leaving hell, which is this existence. We're in hell. This is the Matrix. You know, he's the gatekeeper, the guardian, to make sure the dead don't leave, and we are dead until we unplug ourselves from the Matrix, you know. And well, we're not dead, but we are dead on some level. You know, we're not living life. We're not truly living, and the only way that we can live life is by unplugging ourselves from the matrix. Then and only then do you live life. Then and only then do you see as reality, and you could grow from there. As long as you're stuck in the matrix, you remain dead on some level, and you're always going to stagnate or just de-evolve until you do become dead. You know, but he says, but yeah, he calls himself Cerberus, and you know, as you can see, 3 heads. It's kind of interesting because the gray aliens, when they appear to people, a lot of the times they appear in groups of 3. You know, it's always 3. They say the power of witches is best in a coven of witches is best. The power of a coven of witches is best in 3s. I don't know why though. You know, I'm sure it has something to do with numerology or something. You know, there's power probably. There's power. There's a powerful vibration behind number 3 if you know how to use it. But see more coffee, and you see a reptilian hand. You know, he likes his coffee, and he's a reptilian. So you see death, and like you know, you got the Christian cross, and then you got the satanic cross, and you got 666. So he's trying to tell you that Satanism and Christianity, they're pretty much both one and the same thing, which on some level, I'm gonna say for the most part they are, but I don't know for the most part, but on some level they definitely are. But yeah, I mean Satan, the being Satan, I think is a thought form, and if such God does exist, and he's an alien, he's an asshole, and he's definitely not good, or you know or he doesn't exist at all. So either way, you know, why call yourself a Satanist? There's only 2 reasons why somebody would call themselves a Satanist: to be cool, to be edgy, to be some little fucking fruity douche, or to be or if you're a host like this guy is, and you're doing it because you because you get something out of it, like something like spiritual power, like you know, a parasite would do it for survival, and I think these hosts are parasites for the most part. I'm not too sure though, you know, perhaps they're perhaps you know perhaps those that control us, that control humanity, aren't parasites, but they're motivated by greed. Either way though, you know, they're not just, they're not righteous beings or creatures. Or perhaps they're doing it out of survival. I don't know. Again, some more shit from Breaking Bad. A reptilian devil hiding in the shadows, manipulating, too pussy to do it out in the open on a fair level. Don't you get it, son? Humanity is the prime evil, not you. So you know, and I call us the prime evil. Because why? Because this universe. Okay, how can I put it? This universe is extremely unjust. Nobody deserves a paradise. Nobody deserves a heaven to where they can live happily ever after. When there's other people in other dimensions and universes that never had a fair shot in life, that are suffering and forever will be probably suffering, and being tortured, and just having this, it's a shit existence for some people in that are tied to consciousness. And one can never truly understand and know this until they themselves peep beyond the gates of damnation. And you want to peep. You want to be. You don't want to go. You don't want to open up the gates and go into damnation, because there ain't no return once you do. But you want to peep. You want to stay behind those gates, and you want to peep and know that damnation exists. Get a taste of it, see it, and then you'll realize. That the bad outweighs the good in this universe, and that it's important to vibrate highly, but just enough to where you can survive, you know, and continue to live, because that's all that matters, is your survival. Do you deserve a happy life? I don't think so. But do you deserve to be tortured forever and damned? Absolutely not. Fuck no. So fucking so me, I'd keep it in between. If I ever escape this matrix, my dedication, my heart goes out to humanity. My heart goes out to those that are damned, and for me to sit back and have tons of sex and indulging in all this great energy and fucking and beautiful looks and fucking and so be to whatever my heart desires. Fucking, it would be selfish of me to sit back and know that I'm enjoying life at its most awesome extent, knowing that fucking there's people out there that never had a fair chance, that never had a fair shot at the same things I have, and they're suffering in these places unfairly, unjustly for all eternity, and here I am picking out and being happy and just partying, just having a party, and how selfish will I be if I do that, for somebody to indulge and not think of other human beings, other souls out there, other souls that are human or similar to such, that didn't get the same chance as me, would make me a very greedy fucking piece of shit. And I don't think anybody deserves that. But I definitely don't think anybody deserves to fucking be in some hell and to be tortured for all eternity, and to be damned, and for their souls to be destroyed, in some way or another. And so which causes them to be damned in the first place. So I my heart, if I escape this matrix, I live to serve. I'd follow the samurai way in that regards. I live to serve the greater good, and greed comes third. Greed comes third, morality comes second, and survival comes first. So but I'll never stick greed before morality. You'll be no better than these fucking Dawadian Nordics if you did that shit. So fucking which according to the JOS, the Dawadian Nordics, they never had to endure a life inside a matrix. Maxine will tell you that herself. That these Nordics, they never tasted life inside a matrix. They never tasted life to where their psychic senses were shut off and they were born into a system where they're indoctrinated by like religion and all these other bullshit programs. They've never, in other words, these Nordics, they never been born into hell. So how are you gonna go for them for guidance if they themselves never been down? That's like somebody trying to get out of the ghetto, or Compton, or like fucking if you're born in the hood and you're trying to work your way out of the ghetto, you're not gonna go to a fucking white man that's lived in the suburbs his whole life for that guidance to get out. I mean, you're gonna go to somebody that's been from the hood, that was born in the hood, that's been in the hood and worked their way out of it for guidance. If you want to find a way out, somebody that's lived that life is best fitted to help you. And these Nordics, they never lived this life. They never lived life inside a matrix. They never lived life inside hell. So and then the JOS expects you to go for them for guidance. You're expected to trust them, and when they never been in your shoes, how can they truly understand it? But you want to make excuses anyways and say, well, they're millions of years more advanced. Well, if they're so much more advanced, I mean, then this war would have never started in the first place. Satan would have been wiser before he would have gave animals the genetics to become humans. But instead, he never thought of the consequences. He gave us the genetics to become human, and then a whole shitstorm started afterwards. And now many people are damned because of his stupid fucking choice and giving us the genetics to become human. So you can make any excuse you want. The logic does not add up. So here you see he's promoting that lustful mindset. He's promoting looks. It's about it's the lower perspective on sex, and on I mean, lust is something to be mastered. Lust is not something to be you're supposed to control these emotions. You're not supposed to be ruled by them. So you'll see a lot of hosts always push that lust fucking shit. But anyway, so here he is, fucking a wolf biting into a naked woman, and it's like a form of bestiality here. You see that fucking woman like fucking about to like make out or want to kiss that wolf, and again, it's like a really lowly form of fucking of sexual behavior. Some more vampire shit. Again, serial killer Michael, what's his name? Was it Michael Myers? Yeah, Michael Myers, serial killer. Fucking, you'll see it like I mentioned this before, I think, but these hosts, they if you see like shit like with a weird obsession with like serial killers or fucking or or Hollywood fucking characters that are serial killers like Michael Voorhees, I mean Michael Myers, then yeah, that's a sign that they're hosted. One eye symbolism, and then you see the butterfly right here, MK mind control. One eye symbolism, and I guess the flower can be symbolic of death and rebirth, reincarnation, only to be mind controlled again and being one eye, one eye blind. As you can see, that one eye is shut. There ain't even no other eye right here, so one eye open, one eye blind in this case, with no eyes. So yeah. A boy's best friend is his mother, which is fucking kind of bullshit if you ask me. But yeah, I didn't choose to fucking come into this hellish existence. There's a reason why, the woman's if you look at the woman's like sexual reproductive system, it's shaped just like a goat's head. So the goat has always been a symbol of fertility. So it's like it's like women are they're called organic portals for a reason. They're portals into hell. So fucking I didn't choose to fucking be born into hell. I've hell chose me. I didn't choose hell. and fucking my mother, she fucking played a very significant role into destroying my life. And she's a drone too. She's definitely my mother's an Rh negative blood type. So and I think Rh negative blood types, and I think that's another thing to look out for too is Rh negative blood types. Is that I think they're hybrids. And my mother does a lot of shit in threes. She's a big promoter in Christianity. She will not listen to the truth whatsoever. She's not even open-minded about it, and she ridicules anybody that gets involved in that stuff. She gets involved in drugs and fucking. She's not a good person, and I've always had some hate. I don't want to say some hate, but I've always had a strong dislike for my mother. I mean, there's a part of me that loves her, and if she died tomorrow, yeah, I would cry. I would shed a tear. But fucking but I also told myself if I ever escaped this matrix and I had the chance to kill her on a psychic level, I would overcome that love and I would fucking do it. Cause fucking she's a scumbag, and I don't know if she realizes it or not. If she doesn't realize it, I'll fucking disconnect her from the matrix and I'll bring the human back, and there won't be no need for killing anybody. And I've always seen her eyes fucking shapeshift. She shapeshifted a few times in front of me before, and I've seen her eyes slit many times, and I've also seen her with fangs, and fucking and I've had a dream with my mother once where me and her got into a religious argument, and the second I started saying that Christianity is bullshit, she shapeshifted like into a dog man or like a werewolf type creature. I don't want to call it a wolf. It was more like it resembled more of a dog like creature. But it wasn't a human. It was like a beast. And I remember fucking, she got really fucking pissed at me. And when she looked at me, she morphed into this like dog man, like this were-dog or some shit. But yeah, your mother is not your best friend. Your mother could be a piece of fucking shit. And She could be raping you every night. She could be fucking torturing you, or fucking, or she could just turn you into a slave. Does that make her a good person? Does that make her somebody worthy of respect? You can see serpent symbolism he has right here: a snake, a cobra, a hooded cobra. Hooded, it always makes me think of a hooded reptile, like in a cloak. Hooded, you can't see, in the dark it may look and appear as human, but as soon as the cloak is removed, it's a fucking reptile. And then you see like a werewolf or like some shapeshifter skinwalker about to strangle a young innocent woman. Medusa, fucking the snake goddess, figures he would have something like that on his profile. One eye symbolism. You always see the fucking reptilians try to pull, shit like this, like, with the they'll have a picture of somebody, or they'll be doing it themselves, as in like having their hands over top their heads. It's always like subliminal suggestion, saying that you're in over your head. You're in over your head, like, don't try to beat the system. Don't try to figure me out. You're in over your head. Angels, so he gets into angels and all that. And like I said, angels, demons, jinn. These are all just another word for aliens, and plus this superstitious shit like angels and jinn, they don't exist. It's another way to push religion, that religious superstitious mindset, which keeps people from thinking in scientific terms and reality. Everything is science. There's a mathematical equation behind everything. So to say that science is a religion in itself is not true at all. And you'll fucking either see, I think you'll see hosts fucking saying that shit, or fucking people that are fucking like really stupid and really 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 beat down by the system, which is why they're stupid. It's not their faults. It's not. If you run into a really stupid person that does really stupid shit, it's not their fault. It's the system made them that way. Human beings aren't born into fucking idiots. We're not born into monsters. And the system, the matrix, makes us into these things. They're vampire fucking abducting an innocent woman, and fucking, I don't want to say innocent, but I don't believe nobody can truly ever be innocent, because we all eat to survive. We all have to do fucking, the gain and the yin. You can never escape the gain. You're always going to be in tune with it in some way. There's always going to be a little bit of yin within the gain. So nobody is truly innocent, but the goal is to be as good of a person as you can be. But unfortunately, you're in a matrix, so the goal is, all bets are off. Do whatever you need to do to get out of here, because it's either that or your soul is going to be damned. If it takes fucking doing something very immoral, very evil to get out of this system, very degrading, do it. It's better than fucking being damned and turning into one of these assholes, like I'm turning into. And here he is, fucking calling human beings monkeys. You'll see that with a lot of hosts too, that they always try to promote they always try to tie humans in with monkeys, dumb apes. You're nothing but a dumb monkey. Too bad they never had the balls to say this on a level to where, like, it would be like on a fair playing ground, like where a human being that realizes their own psychic potential. You see these aliens, they start to hesitate, that they think twice about fucking with you, which I've seen with my own eyes. These are nothing more than cowards. I found this great. So you see gray aliens and cats. And then you see an octopus, a squid. Cthulhu, the ancient ones from the Necronomicon. Octopuses are also tied with grays, so you know. And then you see a butterfly or moth, MK Ultra. And then you see right here, this picture right here is probably my favorite in terms of exposing this guy. He's calling himself a dead soul, a dead human being that is in tune, that ties directly with a hive mind, bees. You know, he's a reptilian, he's a host, he's a drone, which is what he's saying. The Thing. Uh, yep, and he likes the movie The Thing. Yeah, he would. If anyone hasn't ever seen this movie, I suggest you look it up on YouTube. It's about an alien that comes from space and parasites its way into a human body or other life forms and merges with them, turning the host into a shape-shifting alien. He's referring to himself. Subliminal suggestion right here. Sleep, obey, don't question authority, consume. Don't wake up. One eye symbolism. Godzilla is my spirit animal. So he's calling himself a reptilian. Pizza, and then cats. So they turn you into a pizza, and then eventually they turn you into a cat. So I think this is like something that ties into soul transmigration. How I explain, like in the movie The Skeleton Key with Kate Hudson, how when they transmigrate souls of the one body to another, they always have a way of keeping the victim's mouth shut, closed, so they can't say, you know. So once the soul transmigration happens, they can't tell other people that they're a victim. And I think this is one way. I think somehow these aliens, they transfer soul cats into the bodies of human beings, because cats are there's something very different about cats, and they've always been held in high regards by ancient cultures, which ancient cultures always been part of this alien matrix, and the gods that ancient cultures worshipped have always been these asshole aliens. So you know, so I sometimes think that these aliens, like, sometimes I wonder if they are cats, or if cats are part of their alien collective. They're like, you know, the reptilians, the cats, or the cat species, the cat aliens, the Greys, and fucking like the Nordics. But you know, basically cats are fucking. I mean, well, cats always been referred to like, you know, reptiles with fur, snakes with fur, because they have the slit eyes, they hiss like a reptile. So you know, fucking I think, you know, some way this soul transmigration thing ties in with cats, and cats act as like conduits when they body hop to one body. Like, for example, like the ones in power, like with Queen Elizabeth and all that. When she gets old and she dies because she's a reptilian soul, she's gonna hop to another body and she's gonna live her life in that body, in her new body, you know, as it's young, and live life all over again. But what will happen to that soul that she has to fucking kick out of that body? I almost kind of wonder if they somehow put these souls into the bodies of cats. And fucking man, what happens to the cat soul after that? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is all theory. I don't know, man. But I do think that cats act as some sort of skeleton key, or some ninth, like, you know, 9 lives, 9 gates of hell, the ninth gate. They act as some sort of fucking key to travel between worlds, or as a conduit for like soul transmigration. And yeah, and that's one thing you'll see about hosts, that a lot of them get into the cat shit for fucking some reason. Again, you see the satanic hand horn signs, and then Jesus on the cross. So he's tying Christianity and Satanism directly together, you know. So he's pushing them off as both being true. And then you got Akaio, a trickster according to Native American mythology, telling us that he's a trickster, someone not to be trusted. And then you got fucking MK Ultra and a dumb ape playing with the butterfly, you know. Through the system, through intense MK Ultra, you become a dumb ape. He is an invisible man. Human is his disguise. His true self you can't see unless you empower your psychic senses. Open your third eye, put on the sunglasses, which is symbolic as such in the movie They Live by John Carpenter. They live, we sleep, wake up. A devil cat, a fallen angel. It almost kind of makes me wonder if that's not a fallen human, you know? If there wasn't some sort of soul transmigration going on, and you know, and that angel that once was in that human body is now in that cat body, and it's become a devil of some sort. I don't know. He is a devil cat, and that cat probably resides a human soul, and the cat's soul or alien than the host, as they probably use cats as conduits of some sort between realms to transfer human souls. The movie The Skeleton Key with Kate Hudson comes to mind, a movie based on the occult, truth, or soul transmigration. Also, the movie The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp comes to mind, and as well, cats are said to have 9 lives. This is a connection to the 9 gates of hell. Moon symbolism. Moon has always been a symbol of deception, hidden things in tarot. Also a symbol for shapeshifters and skinwalkers, where werewolves falling into that category. If you think Michael R. Donahoe is ugly now, can't imagine what he looks like on some nights during a full moon, perhaps, behind closed doors. Possibility, just food for thought, you know. Maybe he fucking, who knows? But you know, the moon, lunacy, you know, fucking, they say the moon ties directly into this matrix, or it's like a satellite, a artificial satellite that fucking plays a big role into, you know, creating this frequency fence, you know, so to speak. And you see the moon, and he ties the moon with rabbits, you know. Again, rabbits are a prey animal. You know, we're in the rabbit hole. We're rabbits now, you know. The goal is to, I mean, we're rabbits on some level anyways. The goal is to get out of the rabbit hole and see the world for what it is. Get out of Plato's cave. You know, it's not about going down into the rabbit hole. It's about fucking getting out of that fucker. And so, you know, he's tying the moon, hidden things in with being a rabbit. So, you know, they try to call you a rabbit if you get involved in hidden things or the occult. So, you know, going down the rabbit hole as a rabbit, you're prey as long as you go down the rabbit hole. You're prey as long as you go into the occult world. You'll get eaten by these aliens. Well, this is the only way that you can fight back. You know, don't buy into their subliminal fucking propaganda. I could see right through that shit. Same. So he's pushing communism here. You know. I mean, we are all the same on some level. We all share the same consciousness, but there's 2 ways of going about it. I don't know much about communism to criticize it. I mean, communism would probably be a good thing if there wasn't no alien matrix here and there wasn't no aliens that fucking. I mean, once humanity unplugged themselves from the matrix and deprogrammed their minds from this bullshit, then communism could probably be a good thing. But as long as we're in an alien matrix, as long as we have the blindfolds of the matrix on, communism, I think, can easily be exploited, and by those that do have occult knowledge and power, and then it could be used as a weapon against the inhabitants of this planet, which it clearly is, you know, hence North Korea, Soviet Russia, and China, etc., etc. Here he is, a wolf in sheep's clothing. At least that's what he's trying to fucking call himself. That should speak volumes, you know. A reptile eating a human being. And then he says some inspired artwork. So, you know, he's calling himself a reptile that eats humans. Finally, an aisle that caters to my needs, eternal pain. So he's pushing the damnation, you know, mindset, you know, eternal suffering, forever stuck in a matrix. A human woman with a serpent wrapped around her, showing that he's a shapeshifter.
A reptilian taking on the form of a human. Look at her glowing eyes, you know. And this guy has a lot more pictures you guys could check out if you want to check out his profile. I only went through fucking a few of them. This guy has hundreds, you know. So I'm pretty sure I missed fucking quite a bit. But there's more, and these people are all over social media. And they're not people, they're aliens on a soul level. They're not human. And that's what people need to fucking figure out, you know. Because once you figure that out, then you start to figure out the trap that you're in before you get trapped within the trap. Because you're born into a trap house. And if you get trapped within the trap house, you're never leaving the trap house. So